Okay. Welcome to the My Practice, My Business Roundtable discussion. And we're excited today again to have 5 of our wonderful docs here that we love leaning on and getting their information, getting their opinions. And I want to thank everybody for being here. And let's start out with a discussion on we don't know what we don't know. And that seems to be a major problem. We don't know what we don't know. Why do so many of us love to stay in the status quo of what we do? What caused you 5 to break out of the status quo with our training? And what about your team members? Do they love staying in that status quo? And some of you may even still be in the status quo after our training. I don't know. Let's have some discussion. Go for it. Why the status quo?
I think sometimes the status quo is not we don't know what we don't know. It's they think they know.
Oh, good point, John.
I mean, and then it really is we don't know what we don't know, but you already think you know, so you don't need to even look outside the box. The box is real. I've worked with lots of people who feel that way. When I've tried to share what is so great, they can't even go down that path.
So you're saying that the status quo mentality is because they think they aren't in the status quo in their box.
Yes, that's the experience I've had when I've tried to share this and share different things and different techniques, even with young people coming out of school. I don't know where they get in that box, but they don't understand that it can be different.
Okay, I'm going to rapid fire here. Rich, give me one thing that you had to rethink completely different from our training. Give me one thing that just stands out in your mind. Ben, you're going to be able to be thinking about this as we go because Rich was like first on the list here.
Well, I think one of the big things was just again utilizing just even basic the law of just like you can do the procedures that you want to be doing, and the insurance can't tell you to write that off. Because I recall, seeing some EOBs, and the insurance is telling me that direct pulp cap is inclusive with the filling, or that buildup is inclusive with the crown. And like, wait a second, but I did it. Why? How does that make any sense? Right. That Rich, like this needed that procedure. Why in the heck are they telling me that that's included in the filling?
Especially when it's a non-covered service, because I mean, when the non-covered service law came out, I'm going to tell all of you right now, it probably took a year for me to actually implement it, figure it out. There was nobody teaching us, so it's like I felt like I was on my own trying to figure out what that law meant. And so bringing up the law and being able to apply law, that was a rethink.
I can actually bill for the services I do. Like that to me was like...
That was an aha moment for me.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, I can actually do what needs to be done, same type of thing, and bill for it and get paid for it or reimbursed for it. It doesn't have to be, this ethical dilemma of like, I want to do the best thing, but I also have to make a profit on what I'm doing, and I can't do that when I'm squished in the middle.
So that aha moment was, wow, I can be paid.
I can actually be paid. Yeah, I can actually provide top quality services and stay in business in the long run.
Stay in business.
Stay in business.
That's funny. It's not funny, but not funny. Right?
But yeah.
Kim, give me that rethought, that aha, whoa. I had to rethink my life. Give me one thing from the training.
So the biggest thing was the perio procedures and
perio protocol. Because you were a hygienist before you were a dentist.
Oh, yeah.
And like the connection of like stuff I did learn in school, but what insurance is dictated, it didn't line up. And then all of a sudden you're putting things in there that I'm like, oh, yeah, we've been missing that. So that to me,
the whole perio protocol we teach
was like a big...
Once you have perio, you always have perio though. Why does it matter?
Yeah,
you do. Yeah. You can eliminate periodontal disease?
That you can actually take care of the periodontal disease. It's not there forever.
Doesn't forever infection?
It actually works.
Wow,
yeah, it works.
And the things that we can use are like great.
Yeah. to be able to attack it like medical would attack it, right?
I'm going to jump in actually with the
You're
aha
going to give an aha moment here?
And I'm not
Rethink?
even a dentist.
Oh,
I was thinking about what all three of you had mentioned, which the perio protocol is a factor in this one, but being in a position where you're feeling like you actually can get paid for services that you do, and you don't have to write them off due to bundling or the misconception that it's inclusive, even though it's not covered. And I remember what my aha moment was with the bundling law that we passed in our state was we were getting doctors calling me up saying, Tracy, what is going on? If I legitimately have to do the service and it costs me more money to do it, why am I not getting paid fairly for that service? And if I'm not going to get paid fairly for that service, I'm not going to do it. And so suddenly watching the patient quality drop because these dentists, and I don't blame them, but nobody wants to work for free. And that was my aha moment of something needs to happen, something needs to change, because it's not just the greedy dentist wanting to get paid for what they do. It's patients are not getting needed services because of the insurance company manipulating the situation.
there's more to that story, and I'm going to tell it. Tracy works very closely with the coding department of the ADA, and an individual there at the coding department said these phone calls were coming in left and right, and they were coming in for a whole year and a half. And they stated that dentists are calling in, they're saying, look, if I'm not going to be paid for buildup, I'm just not going to do it. And if the crown falls off, that's on the patient. That's not on me. And I'm going to state that your insurance company is dictating care, and I'm not able to create a retentive preparation. And if your crown falls off, and they just put it in the notes, crown falls off, you need another crown, it's on you. They wouldn't give them the option of, hey, you need a build-up, you can pay for it out of pocket yourself, or because your insurance company probably won't pay for it. They didn't even. That's what the problem with dentistry is we've been trained to think in such a direction of we're so afraid to charge our patients for what we do that we forget that it's the patient who's ultimately responsible for the dental care we provide, not the third-party payer, even being a part of that.
When the insurance companies turn around and say, well, it is covered.
It's inclusive.
But it's included on the same day as this other thing. That's where it gets frustrating. And again, sorry.
It's a bundling law.
There's the bundling thing that happens. And it's so frustrating that happened. But that was my aha moment of things we need to change the way we think.
You're saying we needed to create legislation.
Yes.
To protect the dentists.
We need to protect the dentists and the patients from what they do, because your aha moment is, we have laws to protect us now in our state, and I should not feel guilty knowing that I'm getting paid fairly for the services that I provide. And I love that all of you have that mentality of, you deserve this. You went to school for a reason. You ate rice and beans for 8 years. We talked about that.
Top ramen.
Top ramen,
baby.
in order to pay for your school. And now it's what, $700,000 for school right now. And then you talk about maybe opening up a dental practice. You deserve to get at least a little bit of money for those services that you provide. So,
John, what's your rethink?
So
after going through our
I don't think I had a ha-ha moment. Every one of these are aha moments for me. I went through every single one of these. But I remember, I think one of the things that let me see there is another box was when I heard from you about the ADA coding and leasing to the dental companies.
Yeah.
That right there made me think, okay, everything that I've thought about insurance telling me about the code book and the ADA telling me about the code book is not
conflict of interest.
Yes, and so it made me start to think outside of what I thought was real. And all of these aha moments fit kind of into that, but that's how it was for me.
Well, when you hear that the major insurance company is sitting on the board of 10 people to make these codes, when it really should be, these are our codes and this is how it is from the dentists themselves. And then you're hearing that the insurance companies are helping create the codes and manipulate them or make
and
them
in
out.
our little box, like you said before, where do we learn? We learn from the insurance company.
Yeah.
Right? And the ADA isn't there to support us because they
educate.
need the insurance company to lease their coats.
That was a good rethink. I think it's
It's a big paradigm shift.
So that made me open to everything. It made me just like, okay, there's a whole lot here I got to learn.
Ben, what was your rethink?
My whole rethink was I can actually realize the vision that I want for my practice. I can make the practice I want, and it's not being, hamstrung by what the insurance dictates my vision can be for my office.
You kicked the insurance right off your energy bus? Is that what happened?
I put it right out the back window. And so if I want to introduce a technology, if I want to introduce something that makes no sense to do business-wise because insurance won't cover it, now,
Doesn't matter.
And the other aha moment is patients want the best, right?
Right.
When you tell the patient, hey, we've got, this, which is covered by your insurance. If you want something better, it's going to cost you a little more because it costs more to do
For you.
for me. And 95, if not more % of people are like, I want the better. And they don't even when they're ho-humming, when you
They
go
still
over it with them, when they come back, I've been thinking about it and I want the best. So patients want the best. They're willing to pay for it. And I can do the best while realizing our vision for what we want to do as a practice, which is huge.
I think that,
It makes it fun again.
yeah, and
That's
we
it.
just,
That's the key.
Makes it fun.
it is pretty fun.
It's so fun.
It is really fun.
And just do fun stuff that you want to do that you're, hey, you know what? I'm going to do an extraction. I'm going to do a bone graft. I'm going to make the most beautiful ridge. And I'm going to get paid more than $120 to do
And
it.
you're not
My cost
to do it. You're not going to pay out of your pocket.
I'm not going to lose a few
I'm going to
hundred
lose a few hundred bucks
do it.
on this procedure. I'm actually going to get paid what the procedure deserves. And
We had a doctor a few years back, and we hear it a lot, is after they've learned that they can be profitable on procedures, even fillings, they say, it actually makes me want to be a better dentist. Am I being too honest with you with this one? And I'm like, no. I mean, everybody wants to be paid what they feel they're worth. And if you're doing a great job and getting paid fairly for it, I think that's fantastic.
you don't resent doing good work.
No, not at
You know
all.
what I mean? When you do that beautiful interior case and you're like so ticked off because you're making $50 per,
Yeah.
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 per unit.
And on the flip side, I saw a patient yesterday that when he came in and he's down to a few teeth left. He's gonna be in a denture before long because of his situation. And he said, no, I want to keep him. I don't want to get the denture or whatever, but I can see like what's going to happen here soon. And then said, well, we should really fix some of these teeth and do things. I felt comfortable telling him, look, you have these two options of the more expensive material or just the basic one. In my honest opinion, I'll do either of them, but I think the basic material is going to suit your needs for what they are, and it will save you some money. And I felt comfortable telling him that, and he appreciated the honesty. And sure, I'd love to put the best thing in there, but he was in a tight situation, and he liked the honesty and the openness. And that, we wouldn't have that. We'd always just be providing whatever it is. We don't have any choices, but now we have the choice either way. We can educate them. They can make the choice.
See, and I love that because we don't have the mentality, and all of you don't either, of we're going to go for the cheapest because that's what we're reimbursed on. It's what is a really good product and what's a really great product, because either way we need to sleep at night. And so when the patient says, listen, you know what? I'm okay without that better thing. I'm going to go with the baseline. We can still go, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Because the patient is now telling us what they want, and we've given them all the information, we've educated them, and we need to honor that decision that the patient has made. But there's this really great book that I know we talk about during the training, is by Edward Deasy. It's called Why We Do What We Do. And it talks about how involving the patient in their treatment plans is a huge deal. And involving them allows them a little bit of control over something that they think is not controllable. And so, yeah, I might need that crown, but let's talk about what my options are and how I can have a little bit of control over my services. And choice promotes trust. We love the fact that we're educating them and giving them that opportunity to decide.
So before training, Who presents those treatment plans? Who's the presenter in your office?
Before training?
Who presented the treatment plan?
You go over it and it goes to somebody else who wasn't even there for any of the conversation that then presents it up in the front, and you're not even around for it or whatever.
So I'm going to share with you guys my aha moment. In all the years that I was doing this, in my rethinking, all of a sudden it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I will be the first to admit, and I won't back down from statements I've made because they're just truth. But our office managers and those wonderful people that we have up front, my rethinking was we put them in charge of our practices. And everybody here around this table does over $1 million a year. And I want to ask you a question. What business out there,
What's that person?
you know where I'm going with this,
As
don't you?
the high school educated person
What business would put somebody in charge of a multi-million-dollar practice without any training? And I think that was something that Tracy and I talked about, and we're like,
We still talk about that.
it's the dichotomy of dentistry. We don't know what we don't know, and
Set up an office manager training all on its own, and
we did. We did. We created an OMFO training, office manager front office training, and what has been really interesting to me is to see these office managers who've been at it for 20, 30 years come through that training, and they're like, wow, I didn't realize what I didn't know.
Yep.
And
the dentists aren't ever even providing that to them either.
We send them to other courses. We send them to conventions. We have them study something online, and it's the blind leading the blind. It's the same people saying, send in your fee-for-service fees. Same people saying, whatever the insurance dictates, you have to do that. It's the same people that teach them, production, collection, goals.
They come
goals.
back with a tan and feeling really good about themselves, but that's about
Because
it.
they went
Oh,
to-
and swag. They get swag too.
They get swag. and it's like these feel-good training courses don't give them the tools that they truly do need to run the business. And bless their hearts, that rethinking is like they're working their guts out, full speed ahead, nowhere. And the ARs we see before training are 16, 17, 20 pages long. And after training, I hope all of your, 2 pages or less. And I've really been like, where is their curriculum? Where does that curriculum come from? And then we get mad at them if they don't, aren't you collecting? What's the percent of collections? And then everybody drills in on what's your percent of collections. Well, if they're billing out their fee-for-service fees, they have no idea what their collection percentages really are, because they never, it's a moving target, because they have to wait for the EOBs to come back to write off the 45, 50% discount of your PPO plan. And docs, you never know what your true production is. So how can you even relate that to true collection and where your collection total should be? And I've been thinking about that, and it's like we demand a lot out of them, but we don't give them the commensurate training to do their jobs. And that's why the advanced course, and everybody's been through the advanced course here. And it's like that advanced course was a huge eye-opener. In fact, it's one of my favorite courses to teach, because we teach leadership training, we teach and on my dental stats and how to be profitable by procedure, how to actually analyze your practice in a way nobody else does. Direct operating costs per hour. Who would ever guess that is an important number?
so simple.
So simple.
That was
You look
probably
at it
one of
now.
my mind-blowing moments. Is that like right there, the DOC, and like
You don't want to look back the last 20 years and see how much you left on the table because you didn't know DOC.
Do you know, I reflect back to BlackBerry phones back in the day. In fact, I still follow BlackBerry stock. It's sitting like at $2 and change.
Still have it.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting because we're waiting to see if BlackBerry gets into AI. Who knows? But BlackBerry phones, terrible. They would not change with the times.
Yeah.
And all of you around this table, you have changed, and you have changed for the better, and it's improved your lives, and it's changed your lives. And look at all of our colleagues that are out there, and look at all of our, when I say colleagues, who am I talking about? You and all of our teams are our colleagues. We can't do what we do without them, and vice versa.
We're gonna say Tupperware is the same way. They've never sold besides the get together with all the ladies.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do the internet. They wouldn't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And now there's all these other companies selling the stuff that's Tupperware, but it's really not the Tupperware. If they would have just adapted a little bit, like,
Would have been fine.
wow,
It's their video.
And
Same
so we're-
thing.
A little.
Block-
They
there
don't want
you
to
go.
stream. They wanted to keep
you
their
either have to
store,
adapt
right?
Or sell out to a DSO.
yes.
Okay, did I just say that too loud? Because that's where most dentists they're so down in the mouth, no pun intended. They're so depressed. They're tired of being the hamster on the wheel, spinning 100 miles an hour, seeing triple hygiene, cramming the schedule, and they just don't see an out. And then they fall prey to the predator, and that, in my opinion, in today's market, is the DSO.
And here's my prediction. We know that the ADA is currently working on revamping the CDT codes. We know
You guys all know that?
I did not know that.
we are going to.
Okay, so
Didn't know
As of
until
this
you told me in the phone
moment.
call last night.
last night,
As of this moment, I would
Rich has
say
known this forever.
3 to 5 years from now, we expect that CDT code book to double in size. We're going to see a lot more granular codes. And so what used to be maybe 1 or 2 codes that the average dental practice bills out is now going to be 4, 5, 6 codes according to the CDT code book. And there's going to be a lot of stress involved with these offices that are so used to making 1 or 2 line items with a treatment plan to suddenly going to 6 that they're going to be in over their head and they're going to
And all of you are used to it.
Now, with
And
those
that's
codes, are
why-
they like 6 codes for just
A
different
crown.
definitions? Like this is a crown on, you know what I mean? Or is
The
it
crown.
Is it
Why
to
the crown, the
increase
build
the
up, why the build up?
profitability of selling it to the insurance?
They-
Leasing it to the insurance?
Right, the ADA leasing to the insurance companies.
Yeah.
I mean,
could
what
be
is
worse.
the...
This,
Give us more
this actually,
opportunities.
me personally, I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah.
The goal is understanding that, okay,
Yeah.
we don't just place an all porcelain crown. It could be a CEREC crown, it could be a zirconia crown, it could be an EMAX crown. And so also what materials are being used for these other things and what medications are being used. And so you're going to see a lot of things that are going to mirror medical and how medical bills.
Codes. That's what it's
all
To keep the dumb dentist dumb.
And their argument is, well, it's going to help with you setting your fees appropriately according to the types of services. But I look at that and say, if I were an insurance company and I see that all porcelain crown code is now divided up into 5 different types of all porcelain crowns, I'm going to say that low fee represents
inclusive.
It gives more control over the insurance companies with what you bill for.
Yeah,
And so
we're-
personally, we've been trying to fight this, but again, ADA knows more than we do, so whatever. But having said that, when this happens,
Maybe that's
because,
the insurance companies fighting what you're doing.
see, and it might be. And
Time will tell.
So how
But
do we?
so this is where
we already have a workaround?
we have a
with our
workaround,
training.
which for our training,
This is where the ADA, the organizations need to come and educate about both sides and let the dentists and whoever make the decision, but educate about both sides and let show them both sides, because otherwise, who's doing it? It's the insurance company that's
and this-
educating everybody.
and this is where
one-sided.
And I believe that the current executive, with what he taught us last June and how they want to implement it, I have faith that they actually will do it this time, because they don't want to see the ADA go the way of the AMA. They don't want to keep hemorrhaging membership.
well, and I
they-
think that if the ADA does what we hope they do, and they define unbundling and explain that this is not a bad thing, when you separate these codes into separate sections, like we expect to stay transparent and not to bundle and not to include, there's setting up the process so that it it reduces the insurance companies being able to say that is included, that's included, that's included as well. And so they need to make sure that they're putting statements out there preemptively before all this happens in order to ensure that this whole concept is a success for everybody, including the patients. And so, but my point in bringing this up is change happens, and we expect this change to happen. And the question is how are we going to prepare for it? And that's where it's going to be really interesting to watch the offices that resist change and cannot get around it and cannot prepare for it. Are they going to be the BlackBerry of the dental world? Are they going to, and I don't want that to happen, but we do have to anticipate a lot of really great things happening in the future as well that we need to embrace and apply in our practice for profitability and to stay successful versus kick against it. And some people, unfortunately, are going to be stuck in that stage.
Yeah. Well, all 5 of you have not stayed in the status quo, have you? And
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
With the training that you've received from us, don't you feel like you have a bright future, though, really?
There's hope for the and dentistry as a whole.
So what I'm going to ask each of you to do, instead of the Good Old Boy Network and the Utah Dental Association being the leaders, I hope that you younglings maybe consider leadership in the UDA and be active. But if you don't do leadership, be active anyway, meaning make those phone calls to our executive. He does listen. Send those letters off. Somebody writes something in the UDA Action or nationally in the ADA News, fire back a short rebuttal and be proactive. We don't know what we don't know because oftentimes we choose ignorance. And the fact that you 5 have not chosen ignorance and that you've been through our training and you're profitable, share that story. Help your colleagues, whether they come through training or not. At least share some things with them. Help them out and serve. I'm grateful for the 5 of you for being with us here again on a roundtable and for sharing your time and talents and your opinions and letting them be known. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be watching this segment, this discussion, and I hope they realize that the status quo is not the way to go. I just made that rhyme. You guys okay with that? and that change is inevitable. And dental practices will continue to have problems if they don't change. Just like if you guys had not taken that leap of faith and go, maybe we should do the MPMB training. I don't know. Let's give it a shot. What's the worst that could happen? We won't do anything they teach us.
Okay.
But you guys have done just the opposite. You've embraced the training and you're being successful. Share that with your colleagues. Share that with your team members. Talk about those aha moments in your life. And it can be anything. It can be the technology that you purchase tomorrow. Okay, maybe not tomorrow, but next week. It could be, something that you read. And there's a lot of things that I read. It could be that moment of maybe a dentist down the road who's struggling, not just financially, but maybe struggling mentally, that you can help out in many different ways. And I'm grateful for all of you. Tracy and I are very grateful that we've had the opportunity to serve you and train you and teach you, and we love and respect you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being here. On behalf of Tracy and I here at My Practice, My Business, we wish you all well, and until next time, and hope you have a great day. Thanks for being here.